You're watching Hockey Night in Canada, Punjabi. This week, not one but two South Asians were inducted into BC Sports Hall of Fame's 2020 class. Their contributions as a visible minority will leave a lasting impact, not only in hearts and minds, but now in the history books.
It is quite the honor. I can't tell you how excited I'm inside, but it is quite the honor to achieve this.
The first player of South Asian descent to play in the National Hockey League.
Bawa became the first hockey player of South Asian descent to crack the big league on October 6, 1989. Today, his achievements were acknowledged as he was inducted as a pioneer in the BC Sports Hall of Fame's 2020 class.
Congratulating Bawa on his selection for induction in the BC Sports Hall of Fame.
Sitting next to him, a familiar face in the BC sports scene, Cleve Dheensaw, a longtime sports journalist.
Seeing people left and right that I've, covered over the years, and this is sort of very interesting for me to be able to be part of this now, and just to see everything come full circle for me in many ways. Oh, this is huge. I mean, when I was a kid, I remember coming to the old Hall of Fame. Never in your wildest dreams do you think you're going to be in the hall one day.
While Dheensaw and Bawa had different titles, their roots were much the same, both growing up on Vancouver Island with families who settled in BC in 1908.
My grandfather was with the first wave of immigrants from the Punjab who came out in, I believe, about 1908. And then I brought my grandmother out, and my dad was born in Sydney, BC. And so we go back a long way in this province.
Growing up in the 70s and 80s, it was a lot different, right? There wasn't that many up-big guys, kids playing sports. I was probably the only, Indian boy playing hockey. There was times in junior hockey when I played for New Westminster Bruins where I didn't want to play anymore. I came home at 18, I had enough, and I almost hung it up.
This is a huge importance, I think, to our community, but also for people who visit the BC Sports Hall of Fame to understand and recognize that there are peoples of color, people who have contributed to the sport of hockey or other sports, who you often don't hear their stories. They're often sidelined to the bigger narrative.
Sharnji Sandra is dedicated to preserving the stories of visible minorities who helped shape this province. She says the recognition of Dheensaw and Bawa's accomplishments on this scale will leave a lasting impact.
It's really important that young children coming into that space, especially South Asian, see themselves acknowledged, see their stories acknowledged, and see the racism they faced acknowledged. And through that racism, these amazing athletes were able to succeed and become successful.
One of the few South Asian athletes in BC to play in the Olympics, Ravi Kalon echoes the same sentiment.
We need to continue to tell more stories. We need to continue to have more people of color telling stories. All my friends were so amazed to see him on the rink, and it gave us hope that this is possible. And also Cleve Dheensaw, he's been covering stories of amateur athletes and of people from our community far before anybody else was covering it. I'm so proud of them, and it means so much for our community.
Dheensaw and Bawa at the time chose unconventional career paths, and their risks have turned into rewards. Their efforts will not only remain in hearts and minds, but forever in the history books.